tweets. 123 tweets. That was more than in one day.
Man,
more in one day than he had in any full week in 2017. He's already now at a weekly record, and we have 2 more days to go as president. So, you know, he's clearly taking out his energy through tweets and so forth, most of which are retweets of things that Republicans are saying defending him. I think he, again, likes the idea that he has supporters, he has allies who have his back, something he didn't necessarily feel like he had in September.
123 tweets in one day. Wow, you're president of the United States, which is a pretty busy job, I think. So,
John, not for all of them. Less for him than for others.
So, John, let's go with what we've all known is going to happen, and that's the House next week, assuming the vote takes place next week, will impeach the president of the United States and look over the hill toward what's going to happen in the Senate. If you had any doubt, and I don't think you do, that Republicans would vote to acquit the president of the United States, look no further than Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's interview with Sean Hannity last night, where he said, quote, there will be no difference between the president's position and our position in how to handle this. Right. So Republicans coordinating with the White House to ensure that they get the vote they want to get. This is going to go and going to play out just the way most people thought it would.
Yeah, and I think it's right and proper for all of us to say let's let the thing play out and not be too firm and too predictive. But look, the betting odds are that the president's going to get acquitted. There is some drama around the question, Willie, of these Republicans in vulnerable Senate seats, the Martha McSallies and Cory Gardners and
but they need 20 of them.
Yes, no, that's why I say I think there's some drama around the question of, because those seats matter so much, what will those Republicans do? So we care about those outcomes because we do care about control of the Senate, and those are important political decisions. I can tell you those senators are really weighing things with a fine grain.
And by the way, they can't afford to have the same take as those House Republicans.
Or as the president.
Like Cory Gardner can't do it.
Martha
McSally can't do it.
Certainly Susan Collins can't.
Susan Collins can't do it. Even Tom Tillis has to be careful.
Yeah. Those are the ones. Yeah. And those are the ones where, when you think about who might vote against the president, they're at the very top of the list, along with maybe Mitt Romney, someone who might vote that way on principle. But I do want to ask you, Joe, because I caught something yesterday. I watched a lot of the proceedings yesterday, including a lot late last night before the drama, or the semi-quasi-weird procedural drama of Jerry Nadler and the ranking member going at it over process. The last thing I heard yesterday before the network threw to impeachment coverage was you talking about your view that maybe it was a mistake to have only 2 articles of impeachment and to be so focused, Democrats focus on trying to do this quickly and trying to have these 2 kind of omnibus articles. And as the day played out yesterday, your comments, which weren't very specific, and that's why I wanted to ask you about them, were kind of ringing my ear, because Republicans really yesterday over the course of the day felt, I think, like the reason, as Peter Baker said, that the president's happy because Republicans are now defending him on substance. The reason they're defending him on substance wasn't exactly that they're saying he did nothing wrong. But what they were able to seize on was this notion over the course of the day was that Democrats, if you thought you had a chargeable crime, you would have charged the president. You would have included articles of impeachment on specific things like bribery, so on and so on. Instead, abuse of power may be an impeachable offense, but it's not a crime. And I'm not trying to credit the argument, but I'm trying to ask you whether you think that by going with these omnibus articles in a way that kind of threw everything in a kind of general sense, whether the Democrats might have made a political mistake and given Republicans a stronger argument, or whether having enumerated 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the Mueller obstruction charge would have been better off for Republicans, and why?
Well, you know,
right off for Democrats.
I just think you have to be nimble, and it's hard to be nimble when you're herding that many cats as Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi's first concern has to be those moderate Democrats that are in Virginia, in California, all the people, all the Democrats that won Republican seats by 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 votes. So I understand that. Yeah. But as we move through this process, and the Republicans in the House acted the way in such an abhorrent way. Yeah. And I mean, it's going to damage them in the long run. They would have been much better off just say, yes, he did it, but guess what? It's not a crime. And here's why. And constitutionally, this is why we shouldn't remove him. That would have been a good argument. They're not doing that. And so now some Republicans are cynically saying, well, you're rushing this. It's just my nature to say, oh, OK, I'm rushing this. You know what we're going to do? We're slowing this train. Let's stop the train. Let's stop the train. Hey, OK, hold on a second now. Oh, you don't have a crime. Oh, you mean like when the president's fixer and the president talked about illegally giving a hush payment to a porn star a couple of weeks before an election that would have landed any of you in jail? Okay, you know what? You're right. We're going to. So, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to add that because that is a crime. And this really upsets you that we haven't enumerated a specific crime that would have sent any of us in jail if we had done it in our House races. Okay, we're going to add that. Oh, wait a second. You know what? The Russian foreign minister was in the White House again. That reminds us. We have the president on record obstructing justice, telling the Russians, and I would play it out. It would be Chinese water torture over weeks and months. And Donald Trump, you know what I'd do? I'd be like George H.W. Bush in the '88 campaign against Michael Dukakis. We're going to have Environmental Week, except for the Democrats, it'd be, we're going to have Stormy Daniels Week. We're going to bring Stormy Daniels in. We're going to get Cohen out of jail. Say, now, you're in jail because you did what? Oh, wait, you're in jail because you helped the president in a conspiracy to violate a federal election law that would have landed him in jail. Oh, okay, so this is Stormy Daniels Week. You know what next week is? Next week is Sergei Lavrov Week. And I would just do it week after week after week. Now, I understand there would be some Democrats who, oh, we can't do that. I understand that. But I'll tell you what, not only would that be best for history, I think politically it would be best. Call the Republicans bluff. You know, if Donald Trump selling out an American ally and selling out American national security is not enough for them, you know, then let's in the immortal words of W.D. Childers from the Redneck Riviera, state senator, let's put the wheat where the goats can eat it. Put it down there where they can eat it. And let's talk. That's the thing that drove me crazy about Bill Clinton's impeachment. We're sitting there. He committed perjury, Monica Lewinsky. But there were so many other things that, you know, that were more troubling than that. But anyway, so, yeah, I would call the Republicans bluff. I would drag this out. I would add, I mean, he's committed crimes. Let's add it. The Emoluments Clause, I'd add it. Constitutionally, it's in the U.S. Constitution. They should add it. I understand they're doing it for brevity, to try to get it through there, keep it as simple as possible. That hasn't worked. The Republicans' bad faith has reached new levels. But, of course, Jim VandeHei, that won't happen because Nancy Pelosi wants to get this done, and she is, I mean, rightly concerned about her moderate Democrats.
Yeah, and I think her calculation is that if she did what you did, what you're telling her to do, that you'd still have the exact same outcome, that there really aren't any Republicans that are persuadable. I think that's been the lesson of this presidency. You and Peter had a little debate earlier about whether impeachment helps or hurts Trump. The truth is, like, nothing really makes a difference. He's kind of been locked at 42%, regardless of news, regardless of developments now, 3 years running. And I know the White House is out there. They did a briefing for reporters yesterday saying impeachment is awesome for them. They're raising lots of money. It's stirring Republican enthusiasm. But the truth is, Republican enthusiasm is kind of where it was before. Everything's been locked in. And what they're trying to do is they're saying, listen, we look at what happened over in Britain, and we think that there is a path to victory. And that path is we're going to go to those little counties, those places that people aren't paying attention to. We're going to go to those voters who aren't really Republicans. They're more Trumpers who sat out 2018. We're going to get them hopped up. We're going to be able to target them on Facebook. We're going to try to win a narrow victory because they're looking at that Wisconsin poll that you've been talking about on MSNBC in the last hour that shows that Biden's the only person leading Donald Trump in Wisconsin, which is probably the most important swing state in politics right now. And they're going to try to, like, do what they're doing to be able to squeeze out a victory. And this whole, I mean, the hearing yesterday, like, God, like the The sad thing is, you listen to what Republicans were talking about, and they're saying, listen, if Biden wins, we now have enough to impeach him. You hear Republicans saying that. So now impeachment is like government shutdown. It's like Supreme Court fights. We take these things that almost never happened, and now we're just like, it's just another tool in the weaponry of political warfare. And that's what Republicans are saying they would do to Biden. So it's just another, sort of another bad precedent for politics.